this Brandon Tatum cat has no shame. Now, we know this guy, he never ever uses his platform to go into the black community to help distressed black families, right? That may be hurt, that may have any type of issues. But whenever it's some W folks, man, he comes running. Now, we know that he got himself in trouble with his fan base when he decided to side with that protected group, and they was coming after him. He lost a lot of money, lost a lot of people in his base. So now he's pulling out all of the stops. He's doing anything and everything he can do in his power to get back under the good graces of the W folks and his fan base, right? Now, how is he doing it? He's coming after Nolan Wells, and he's doing everything he can do to make this family look bad, right? And make these W boys look like they did nothing wrong or they're innocent, right? Now, he doesn't know if they're guilty or innocent. He doesn't know if Nolan Wells was unalive. But he's creating a narrative that whatever these W boys say, they're 100% correct. They're 100% right. Now, we know that his body turned up on the shore, right? That's a fact. That's a fact. But now he's saying that he's hearing, he has word that Nolan may have been on drugs. He also has word that Nolan was in the water doing some stuff with a W woman, right? And people could have gotten jealous, right? Now, he said that he doesn't want to say, but some sources have told him this.
People are messaging me and telling me that there is heavy drinking and there's cocaine involved. And there's a particular person whom I know this person's name. I'm not going to disclose it. I'm going to go to the police first, and then I will disclose it if it doesn't interfere in the investigation. But this person allegedly was offering people cocaine, and someone close to Nolan, one of his friends, told me that this person was offered cocaine and rejected it from this person. And I was also told, and this person told me that it's over 100% chance that Nolan was using cocaine during this period of time.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get this straight, right? These people came to you and they told you that there's a 100% chance that Nolan may have cocaine in his system. So now they're telling you, not the police, they're being interrogated by you. They giving up all these statements to you. So now you got this unsubstantiated claims, and you go online and you bring this stuff out online, right? Right? Where if the police may have had there's an investigation, because remember, there's an investigation going on right now. And in the investigation, they're hiding organs. They're doing all kinds of stuff to actually hide things to go to a grand jury. So how could you go down to Mississippi, talk to these boys who may be mixed up because they was the last people that he was seen with, and they would be your sources to tell you what may have happened to him, and now you're relaying this stuff online and not the police? Wait a minute. So you don't have a gag order on you where you're using your platform because you could be putting out false information.
So there's no issue with transparency. And I'll say this. The reason that I'm talking about Al Sharpton and them is because the first thing that they said was that he was there with white boys. Therefore, there had to have been something. And then it goes back historically. Some of them compared this to the young man.
I've heard very different messages from them when they have said, we cannot assume that this is racist. But we cannot assume that it wasn't. So I'm going to correct you there.
Let me jump in here.
Who's that, Charles? Hold on. Charles, who said that? Who said that?
Literally during his eulogy, Al Sharpton said, we cannot assume that this was racist. And he said, we can also not assume that it wasn't.
Now, Tatum tried to lie right there and got caught up in the lie. Because as the former district attorney said, first of all, they never said that. As a strategist, they would never come out and just accuse these young men of something that they can't prove that they didn't do. But they said something in the air stinks. We can't say that they're guilty. We can't say that they're not guilty. We are here to do an independent conduct an independent investigation based off the requests of the parents because they don't trust Mississippi to do it. right? So now their team has been brought in. They seen what happened with the Ahmaud Arbery case. Now Officer Tatum is lying, and he's out there saying that they just invoked race and they criminalized these boys before anything happened. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. First of all, Mississippi is not following protocol. They thought that they would have an open and shut case because when the police came out and said, well, we don't see no foul play, before they did any thorough investigation. Now we're finding out that there was alcohol, drugs, and there was a whole lot of things going on, right? Where it deserves an investigation to find out what actually happened to Nolan. Now, he said based off the history of Mississippi, and not just the Emmett Till, starting from 2015, where you have so many cases of black men being licked from trees and black men going out into the water with W's and not returning. So this is not something that never happened before. This has happened before, right? So Brandon Tatum was found to be a liar. That's why he started smiling and tried to come in and clean it all up. But he ain't done.
This person said it was 150% sure that when the toxicology comes back, that Nolan will have cocaine in his system. Now, again, taking into consideration, this is somebody telling me this. I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying it. I'm not able to verify it. But from the sources that I'm getting it from has been consistent, verifiable sources thus far and hadn't been wrong about nothing. So there's a possibility that there's a person that Nolan may have been around or interacted with that is giving cocaine to the people on this island, that Nolan may have taken the cocaine. And then also, I received a DM from someone DMing another person. Now, I'm trying to leave these names out because I want to not mess this investigation up. I think law enforcement already have this. That alluded to the fact that, and I messaged this person because I want to talk directly to the person that I saw the DM from. And we haven't talked to this person yet. But the person said in the DM to another kid that is associated, not any of the kids that I interviewed to talk to, but that could be associated to some degree, that knew Nolan, that this person wrote a message saying, me and my husband saw you arguing with Nolan, and to the effect of you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Now, the person did not say they saw a physical altercation. The person did not say what time they saw Nolan and this other person getting into an argument. Now, this is after Warren, their boat left. This may be somewhere around a little bit before 6, right around 6 or a little bit before 6 p.m. Now, according to the autopsy, which I interviewed a medical examiner about this, there is no evidence of blunt force trauma or an evidence that Nolan got into a physical altercation. So I'm putting all this stuff together, what people are sending me and all that, and I'm trying to find a neutral point to share with you. What I'm thinking at this point, with all that has been said, is that somebody knows exactly what happened to Nolan, or they saw him right before he died. I am not convinced that Nolan was just out there and drowned. It could be. That could have happened. But I'm more convinced now than ever based on what people have been telling me and DMs that I've been seeing, people that have been verified sources, that has to be something with this cocaine. There has to be something with Nolan and a girl. And there has to be something with Nolan potentially being in either altercation with somebody, which would lead me to believe that that person saw Nolan last.
This guy is a horrible dude and a liar. Now, all of a sudden, he's trying to get out in front of this because he knows that the evidence is shown now that something happened to that boy, right? Because he first came out twerking, saying let the investigation proceed, and saying nothing happened to him. He drowned, and he was going hard in the paint. Now all of a sudden he's coming out because he knows that he can't keep this narrative because everything is coming to light. And remember, see, this is where he's disingenuous. He's saying, well, I have a source that's telling me that something may have happened to him, and some people emailed him and told him that they told whoever this anonymous person was, we saw you arguing with Nolan, and you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. So now, what he's alluding to is they know what happened. But this is the question. Who was the last people he was seen with? Who did he leave with on that boat? Right? He's saying that they was there and there was somebody giving out illegal substances, right? Why aren't they arrested and taking down the question and putting the pokey to somebody talk? Huh? Because he's the last person. If this was the other way around, all 4 of them black dudes would be in jail. He knows this. He's a hypocrite, right? And another thing, right? When they had the body, right? When they had the body, right? And they took those initial pictures. They knew that it was something going on, and maybe he may have been unalive, and they kept it. I kept saying, I want to see those pictures that was taken on the 8th. When they first found his, the 6th. When they first found his body. And more than likely, they probably already got the pictures. See, this is the thing. Benjamin Crump and them probably already got the pictures. That's why Brandon Tatum is coming out now and changing his tune and saying that, hey, 150% chance that he may have been on some coke. And we got word now that through an email that they know that this guy, whoever this anonymous guy is, may have done something to this young man. They know it already. So now he's out here dog whistling and saying it. Well, how come they not taking into custody now and sitting there now and under intense scrutiny to find out if this could be true or not, right? So this is how we know that the investigation hasn't been ran right. Imagine if Sharpton and Crump wasn't there, right? We wouldn't even have gotten this far.
And that this other person that's giving people cocaine. So this person giving people cocaine, a girl, Nolan, and another person that he may have been in an argument with, to me, are people that need to be investigated. And I can say more, but I'm trying not to get anything messed up in this case because I want justice for Nolan, and I want the boys that weren't involved in this to not get caught up in stupidity. So just so you guys know, I know the names of the cocaine person. I believe I know who the girl is. And I know the name of the person that may have been in an argument with Nolan. And there's nothing conclusive that anybody's telling me where there was violence that occurred. But that does not mean that the violence is ruled out. That does not mean that something could have happened in the water. Another report came to me of someone saying that they saw Nolan with a girl, being intimate in the water to the point where it caught their attention. And they believed that they saw Nolan and this girl struggling in the water, not necessarily drowning, but struggling. Like it was obvious enough that the person was concerned when they saw Nolan in the water and he was with this girl. And that the person explicitly said that they were being intimate, which I don't know what that means as far as just kissing, hugging, cuddling, or something else. But that's what has been told to me. And these sources I think, have been legitimized. But what they're saying, I haven't been able to verify. This is just someone saying this, and I'm telling you what I'm hearing. So when the toxicology come back, if there's cocaine in the system, to me, that will validate that these people that have been telling me this are being accurate. And like I said, somebody really close to Nolan made mention that they're almost 100% sure that he may have been partaking in the use of cocaine. And it's unfortunate. I've been knowing this, at least that part, for a while now, but I didn't want to put his name out there like that, given the fact that he just lost his life. But now that we're getting more information, the investigation is going further along, I'm just putting it out there. And we shall see if what is being told is accurate. But I'll finish it with this. I'm leaning more towards believing that somebody directly saw Nolan and know how Nolan died. That's my take on it. I don't think he was just drowning out there messing around. I think that somebody know more than what they're saying.
Now, as tight-lipped as the police are being in regards to this case, for him to come onto his platform and say that he know the guy that was distributing the illegal substances, he know the woman that he was in the water with, right? He's been had this word, right? And he hasn't taken it to the police. The police didn't put a muzzle on him because there's an investigation going on. So now, what if the guy, whoever the guy that he's talking about, what if he flee the country now? What if he leaves town? What if he goes in the black, goes in the dark, and nobody can find him now because he would know, damn, I'm the one that was doing that. They on to me now. Let me get up out of here, right? But he on here running his mouth. He's impeding on the investigation. Then he said he's 150% sure that there may be substances in Nolan. Now, if it comes back that that's not true, he needs to be sued. He needs to be sued to the 137th degree. Because he's putting out this stuff that he can't substantiate based off of what somebody told him that he can't prove. Where he's on here saying all these things in regards to the case where the police ain't even saying stuff. The police is hiding organs. They're holding on to organs. They're not telling nothing. They try to present stuff to the grand jury. And he's out here saying he got word from witnesses that was there, and he's putting out stuff that the police ain't even making public. Come on, man. You can't make this stuff up, man. Where they do that at, man? Where they do that at? Man, this is crazy, bro. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So he knows the guy that was allegedly giving out the substances and the woman he was in the water with. And he said, I just want to take those boys and make sure that they're innocent. They ain't innocent, because if all this is true and it comes out that he was murdered, they was the last people he was with. So no, man, no, Brandon. No, Ruckus. No, sir. See, he out here running his mouth and he probably getting them in even more trouble. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If y'all made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.